guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new to this channel, my name is Liliana. I'm a Portuguese fashion designer and I am an advocate of slow fashion. Today the video is on pattern making. We are utilizing one of the patterns that we did prior to this one, so I'm gonna link down below the video for the bodice pattern, and then we're gonna use that one to create a dress. So if you are interested, just keep on watching. So I'm doing this pattern on scale, which means that it looks very small, but actually translates to my measurements. The first step is to copy the pattern of the bodice that we did prior to this. As I mentioned, the link is down below. It's important that you copy correctly, because otherwise it's not going to fit properly, and also make sure that you copy the darts exact to the measurements, because that would also allow you to have a better fitting. The bodice pattern is actually a little bit longer, so if you haven't done that, have that in mind, that to do so, to do this dress, you will take a little bit longer. But if you have that done, then this tutorial is extremely quick. The only extra measurement that we will need to do this pattern is the hip level measurement. And to get that measurement, you need to measure from your waist to the largest point of your hip on the side of your body, and that will be your hip level measurement. The first thing that we'll need to do is to elongate the center front, as I did here, and then next we need to elongate as well the bust line, which will still be our bust line, and the waistline. I also have this digital image of the pattern on the side in case if you need some extra help. Next, we are going to measure the hip level measurement into our center front, and this will give us the hip line. And this is the only extra measurement that we will need for this pattern. The next thing that we will need to do is from the underarm point on the bodice pattern, we're gonna elongate until it matches the hip line. On this line, from the hip line, we're going to measure 5 centimeters and then connect that point to the waist point, creating the hip curve. To finish the dart on the front pattern, we need to elongate the original dart, so the middle of the dart, we're going to elongate that line, and then we need to find the halfway point between the hip line and the waistline. That will be our dart point. And then just go ahead and connect those 2 points to the dart point. The front is done, and now we need to do the back. And to be honest, the back is quite similar to the front. The first step is to once again copy the pattern of the bodice. As I mentioned, to the front one, we need to make sure that we measure this correctly, otherwise the pattern is not going to fit properly. It's very important that you making sure that the armhole is aligned as well as the waistline. Also, as I mentioned before, the darts, the positioning of the darts are quite important, so just make sure that when you're copying that pattern, you don't move when you're doing it. I would also like to mention my website, castelhanos.net, that has all of the steps to make this pattern, as well as other tutorials. After you're done copying the bodice pattern for the back, the first step will be to create the curve for the hip, which is connecting the waist point to the 5 centimeter point we created earlier. I want this dress to be quite fitted, so I did this way, but if you want it to be a little less fitted, you can use the same measurement that you have on the front. And next, we're going to do the dart. Same as the front dart, we're going to elongate the middle of the dart until it matches the hip line, and then we're going to measure 3/4 of the distance between the hip line and the waistline, measured from the waist point. In my case, it came up to 19.5 centimeters. This will be your dart point, and then go ahead and connect it to the size of the dart. And that's it, guys. You can now elongate to the size of the skirt and your dress is done. And to be honest, you can play with it as much as you want. So that's it, guys, we are done. This tutorial is quite simple and straightforward if you have the pattern of the bodice done. As I mentioned in the beginning of this video, if you haven't done it, I have the whole tutorial to do back, front, and actually a matching sleeve that you can use for the bodice and for this dress. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below, and also don't forget to support this channel by clicking the like button and the subscribe, and I'll see you next week. See ya!